6 of spades on the turn. And now it's McLean who's getting chips out in first position with nothing.
Well, he is betting, Vince, $165,000. And he's just been called by Dan O'Brien here. Dan does not raise it. He just calls him with his flush. The board pairs threes on the river.
And now McLean's slowing down. He checks it because nothing hit for him.
Well, Vince, once he gets called on the turn, he figures he's going to get called on the river, so why burn up any more chips?
And here goes Dan. It looks about $320,000 into the pot.
That's Andrew.
McLean's had enough. He waves the flag. Dan O'Brien takes down yet another nice pot.
A former day trader out of New York, now poker pro, takes a good pot. We're coming back with more action here on the World Poker Tour.
The name of the tournament is the Bay 101 Shooting Star. We have 333 players this year. First place is just a little bit under $900,000. At the Bay 101, we put the final table stage right smack dab in the middle of our poker room. If you've come down and you're one of the lucky few to get a seat inside the final table viewing area, you're going to be in for a great experience. It's the loudest fans. It's the most excitement. It's very enjoyable.
Welcome back to the World Poker Tour. That's Matt Savage bragging about the Bay 101, but there's a lot to brag about.
Well, he's right, Vance. This is the loudest and most excitable crowd that we have on the World Poker Tour all season long. They love their poker up here in San Jose.
And we are down to four-handed poker. The winner's going to take home close to $900,000 tonight. Who will it be? Action goes to Hasan Habib.
And he's got the Queen 9 of spade here. Looks like he's getting out some raisin chips, coming in for $90,000.
Into the 23-year-old Andy Seth, only been playing poker for 4 years, and he picks up aces just like that.
Unbelievable. Just what you dream about. The guy in front of you raises. You look down and find 2 aces. But the youngster does not re-raise here, Vince. He just calls.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I'll tell you why I don't like this play, Vince, because it entices the blinds to call. Now you got to beat multiple players in a pot. And I say it entices them to call because there's so much money in the pot, and they've got some invested.
Well, McLean has folded, and Dan O'Brien with Queen Jack of Diamonds is going to stick around.
Well, generally speaking, when you have a big pair, you want to limit your opponents to one. You don't want to play against multiple people because somebody's going to beat you, and you're going to go for all your dough.
Well, the flop comes up 10-8-4.
So both Dan and Hasan flopped gut shot straight draws. Andy with the best hand with 2 aces.
160?
After check of Dan.
Can I make 160?
Hassan coming out to bet.
And he's got the gut shot straight draw. The jack would give him a straight. So it makes a continuation bet.
Andy coming over the top, makes it $375,000 to go. Dan goes away.
And he recognizes that's a pretty scary flop for 2 aces. So he's just going to come right over the top right now. And in the party right here, $375,000 to bet. Hasan quickly folds.
Now, he was the early chip leader, Andy Seth. He's from Urbana, Illinois. Went to college at the University of Illinois. Second WPT cash, first final table.
You got to love these Big Ten guys, Vince.
He's a talented young pro.
You know, they have a lot of winter months up there, so you do stay inside and play poker in the Big Ten. That's what they do.
Next hand, a quick fold by the 23-year-old Andy.
He had a good set.
McLean has raised with just a 4 deuce. Dan out.
How much is that, 75? Okay, let's go.
You know, Hasan says, okay, I'll make a call. I'll play with you.
With King 10 of clubs.
I check in the dark.
Well, Hasan says, I check in the dark. Here comes a flop. Jack, deuce, deuce with 2 clubs. Folks, buckle up. We're going to see some fireworks here.
McLean with 3 of a kind. Hasan with a 4 flush.
And here comes the pre-flop raiser. He's going to bet $115,000.
300.
Hasan quickly check raises with the flush draw. You're never going to put your opponent on a deuce when he raised before the flop.
And timing is everything. And Hasan has made it $300,000 to go.
Do it.
Well, Hasan says do it, but not sure he really wants him to do that.
I'm all in. You all in?
Careful what you beg for because it's going to backfire.
Hasan now shaking his head no. Said, why not tell him to call me? Pros don't like to get all their money in on a draw, as we say. And right now, Hasan has got to do that with a flush draw.
I got to call you, man. I hope you don't have a flush draw.
He's got to gamble with him. He makes the call.
Oh, wow. That's unbelievable. Crazy.
Hasan a little bit shocked as his opponent turns up 3 deuces. You just don't expect the guy to have 3 deuces. Then he raised pre-flop. So Hasan Habib The veteran at the table needs a club to stay alive without the board pairing.
Yep. He is begging for a club. Can Hasan get it here?
Oh, Jack comes off. McLean has made a full house. The Jack comes in, split the pot, but no, 4 clubs on the end, even though Hasan made a flush. Not good enough. McLean Karr takes down the pot. Hasan Habib out in 4th place.
Hasan Habib going to pick up $234,000 for the effort. And the celebrating has begun with a player that got into a $1,200 Sunlight McLean Karr.
I mean, he had a deuce. I mean, how do I know he's going to have a deuce? But I still had a shot, you know?
Thanks, guys. Thanks, guys. Love you all.
It was a lot of fun being back. It was great, yeah.
3 players remain at the Bay 101. We're coming back for more on the World Poker Tour. We are back here on the World Poker Tour as the Bay 101 Shooting Star continues.
And our current chip leader is McLean Karr, graduate of the United States Air Force Academy. You got to admire a guy that goes to the academy, that's for sure. They commit 4 years of their life to our armed forces. He served in the Air Force, now is a poker pro. Here he picks up ace king, is going to raise it, makes it $75,000 to go.
Behind him, Dan O'Brien, the former day trader, calls with the queen jack of hearts as Andy Seth goes away. Here's the flop.
Flop king 3-3. That's a great flop for McLean. He's going to lead out and bet here. It's like $115,000. And amazingly, Dan is going to make the call. Now, if you didn't have ace king there, you'd be very afraid of someone making a call with that flop. Now the deuce of hearts comes off. So now Dan has made a flush draw, but still he's up against the top pair and top kicker. Well, again, McLean betting. This time $265,000. And again, Dan calls, but now he has a flush draw.
Can he be so lucky and hit a heart right here for the flush? No, not to be.
Well, 4 clubs comes off. So McLean feeling pretty good about that card. This time making a healthier bet, $580,000. Dan O'Brien is not folding his hand rapidly, though, here, Vince, but he finally lays it down.
What was he thinking after that flop? He got involved, and he loses a pretty big one.
His opponent not at ace king. Chances are he just checked the turn card. Then I have no doubt Dan would have bet and might have won that pot. So
Fold to shove?
Nope.
Didn't think so.
Well, the Andes are going up to 5,000 blinds, 20 and 40,000. And to the next hand we go. Dan O'Brien. This time, look who's got the aces. Big Dan. And he raises, makes it $95,000 to go. Andy Seth behind him with the queen jack.
you were going to make a play on the last pot. That didn't work out. The very next hand, you pick up 2 aces.
What should you start the hand with?
You got to love it.
About $1 million, 1.05 maybe.
He's got $1 million left. He's got 2 aces, and he's just praying this guy comes over the top of him. Just makes the call. Incredibly, Vince, we started this final table with 3 guys in their 40s and 3 guys in their 20s. The guys remaining are the 3 guys in their 20s. So youth prevailing once again on the World Poker Tour. Andy making the call here. McLean folding out of the big blind. So here we go. What a flop for Andy. He's flopped 3 queens. This could spell doom for Dan O'Brien here.
Pretty unbelievable.
Well, Andy checks.
And Dan's going to check. Good check behind him.
Oh, that's incredible to me.
Turn card, a 4 of spades.
Now Andy is now reaching for chips. And he is betting $165,000 here. Well, it's amazing that Dan suspects it looks like that the guy's got a queen in his hand for some reason.
Wow, he's just calling.
With 2 aces, Vance, incredible.
It is.
2 diamonds, 2 spades on the board.
Down to the river we go. 7 of spades helps neither player.
And it puts 3 spades on the board here, which is why I would have raised on the turn with the 2 aces, just in case your opponent has 2 spades in his hand, is backdoor to flush, and now you're sick. It's $220,000.
Call.
It's been called by Dan. And he mucks the 2 aces. But Vince, incredibly, he didn't go broke on that hand like he well could have. He checked on the flop, checked on the turn, and made a crying call on the river.
Really wish you would have bet more, bro. Ah, man.
But Andy Seth.
Nice value bet then.
Running good, as we say, flopping 3 queens to take down that pot.
Oh, wow. You'll see what I had that time. That is pretty disgusting.
Monster hand.
Honestly, like, that would have been the sickest thing ever. I almost folded on the turn, I swear to God.
I'm trying to. What did you have that was so sick?
Go ahead, Dan. Say it.
You'll see.
Will it change that much if you tell me what you had?
I really almost folded the turn. Like, you can't fold the turn there, I guess. But I thought about it. God, 210. What are you doing? Put a real bet out there. I really would have folded.
I think the guy's lucky to be alive.
Yeah. All right, Andy. He raises to 135,000 to go with a king-queen. But our chip leader McLean with a pair of 7s.
McLean's in the small blind, contemplating what to do with 2 7s.
Call.
He's going to make the call.
Now it's on Dan, who's a little stunned after those aces getting picked off. He has Jack Deuce of diamonds.
Oh, look at this, Vince. He's going all in.
Welcome, Tommy Tilt.
How much?
Well, he's making what we call a squeeze play. That's where one guy raises, another guy calls.
Can I get the total without bringing it
You
in?
come over the top raising, thinking if the first guy goes out, the second guy is going to fold as well, and you win the pot.
He has pushed it in. Maybe a little frustration from the last hand.
And he's got a man sitting behind him, so he throws his hand away. Now, if you're sitting in McLean's seat, what do you do with 2 7s? You know, chances are your opponent didn't pick up a pair, because that only happens one time every 16, 17 deals.
I call.
He's made the call with the 2 7s. Dan O'Brien is sick right now, but it's not over.
So Dan, the former day trader, has his stock dropping very fast. Needs to get lucky in the next 5 cards, otherwise back to Wall Street.
Well, the Air Force man out in front with the 2 walking sticks. They stand up. Dan O'Brien will be walking out of here.
Flop comes up 5-5-3. No help for Dan.
So Dan needs to catch 2 running diamonds, 2 running cards to make a straight, or a jack to take the lead. The 10 of spade comes off. We are down to the river card. Dan O'Brien must catch a jack on the river. Otherwise, he'll be out in 3rd place.
Can he pick off a miracle here?
8 of spade comes off. So the poker pro now living in Las Vegas, Dan O'Brien, going to retire tonight in 3rd place.
He played wonderful this tournament. I honestly ran my God, you know.
That was a big effort. Great instincts by this young pro. Going to pick up $292,000. He's disgusted. But we are down to 2 players. Heads-up action about to begin.
Well, you know what that means, Vince? That means they break out the cash when we're down to heads-up play. And there you see him putting it on the table.
It does look pretty cool. That's a lot of cash.
Winner going to take home close to $900,000 with it, the beautiful WPT bracelet.
There's the cash, the trophy, and that coveted WPT bracelet. That means just one thing. We're just minutes away from the start of heads-up action.
All right, don't miss the conclusion of the exciting Bay 101 Shooting Star Tournament. We're coming right back.
Welcome back to the World Poker Tour, where heads-up action is about to start here at the final table of the Bay 101 Shooting Star Tournament.
And Mike, the cash, the title, and that beautiful WPT Tiffany bracelet all on the line. Who will be the last man standing at the Bay 101?
I think Andy's chances of taking down this tournament are really well. He is really strong fundamentally. He knows the math, and he has a really good feel for his game and what to expect out of him. So I think Andy's a huge favorite to win this.
There you see, for us, Jocka's got confidence in his man, Andy Seth. But Vince, McLean Karr's got $4.8 million. Andy Seth starting with $1.7 million. But the guy who's the current leader for the WPT Player of the Year thinks his former roommate, Andy Seth, is a favorite. I'd have to disagree with that.
Well, here's the first hand. Ace-9 for McLean. He's raised it to 120 to go. Andy now looking down at an ace-7. 2 solid hands here on hand number 1 of the heads-up action is going to re-raise. Yeah, he makes it 330 to go.
Mullen.
And quickly, McLean goes all in.
Oh, boy.
And Andy goes all up, trying to figure out what to do now. Does he want to put all his money in with this hand? He's up against it. McLean has ace-9. He has ace-7. You could only phone a friend right now, and that'd be the guy you'd call right there, Faraz Jaka, the guy who's currently leading the point standings for WPT Player of the Year. And he says tournament life on the line, perhaps, if he makes this call.
Only 23 years old. Can he make the right decision in this moment?
A fold.